Alright, here we are. Match number 3. We won the die roll. I would like to play first. I did the Google search on my opponent, and this is what showed up for about a month ago. He played more or less an Is It control deck. So we will see if he's playing that today, and I will keep this as it has lands and spells. Now the question is, do I want to play the Baron more, or do I want to cycle it? Right now I'm thinking cycle. So let's see if this is in fact the deck that my opponent is playing. He has 12 creatures and 2 lightning bolts and 4 fire bolts. So hopefully I will just be able to deal with all his threats that he is able to play and eventually kill him. He is not playing that deck, he is playing Tron. I'll cycle the Baron more. Drawing lots of swamps. Let's see if we see any Tron list for this guy. I don't know what to do here. Oh. Preordain. Top, top. Alright, that spells trouble. Well, at least if we do win this game, we are in the prizes, so there's that. There is also a more of a combo-ish version of Tron that involves playing the Cloud of Fairies, getting a untap effects, just like Familiar Storm. Alright, so he is not playing Tron lands, which is really what he wants to do. But I actually have a very slow hand, so I can't punish him for being slow, which is certainly unfortunate. Let's see what he does. Put on top, put on top, so top, top again. And now he has Urzaland, so he's one Urzaland away from having Tron. So my options are play the horror or play the Gray Merchant. I will play the Horror because they have the same power. It just gives me more devotion now. So if I play the Gray Merchant next turn, it will be an extra point of drain. Alright, you can play the Tron. And you're going to play a Crusher. Going to Rolling Thunder away my creatures. Well, that makes my slow play of the Gray Merchant look pretty bad. That is just enough to kill all 3 of my creatures. Now, the question is, do I even play the Gray Merchant here? I will, just because I want to have some pressure on him. There was certainly an argument there just to waiting to see if he plays a Crusher, then using the Oubliette, and then playing the Gray Merchant later. Now he will gain some life. Triggered abilities are absolutely horrendous with this client. That way it's exiled, so we can't use his land to bring it back. This game looks like it is not going to be a victory. When I play Tron against mono black control, I would say that is in the favor of the mono black control player, but that's normally because they get off to a much quicker start. I almost don't even want to kill the Muldrifters, just because if I kill one of them, he'll be able to bring them back and then draw himself some more cards. I think eventually I'm going to have to kill him, so I might as well do it now before I take more damage. I didn't play the Oubliette just in case he draws another Fangrid Mauler or if he plays a Crusher. Now I'm not even sure if he runs a Crusher. I know a lot of the decks don't, but I just wanted to have an answer for it in case he does. Now I might as well play it for the devotion that it will add to the Gray Merchant. I still believe that this game is close to unwinnable. He has 4 cards in hand and more or less infinite mana. If he gets another Fangren Mauler out, he'll be able to gain himself a ton of life. 15 life by sacking his 3 artifacts. Looks like my opponent is just trying to draw cards now. He's adding blue mana, which makes me think he preordained. I know some of these decks do run Capsize, which that would make my Oubliettes not very useful if he capsizes the one that has the Muldrifter under it. Then he'll get another 187, draw 2 cards. Well, my opponent has 21 cards left in his library. Now make that 20. Now make that 19, and I have a swamp. So my opponent has 6 power on the board, so that is a 4-turn clock, assuming he doesn't have another Rolling Thunder. But he does have Firebolts, at least 1 Firebolt in his grave can flash back. And it looks like he's just going to Rolling Thunder me out right here. Alright, so that is game 1. I do not think Wrench Mind is that good against him, as he does run a lot of artifacts, but Choking Sand seems good. I like Relic because in addition to having the Firebolts, he is using the Haunting Land that allows him to return a creature. And let's see, do I want to put into rest to try and grab a Rolling Thunder? I want to bring in the Font of Returns because he's running a lot of removal. I don't really like Pestilence or Crypt Rats here. Two more cards to take out. I like Undying Evil. If he goes to Flame Slash my Grey Merchant, that would be a very good response. Thinking the Witches is they don't have good targets. They are a good 2-drop, but they are probably not best in this matchup. And I will take out the last Witch for a Duress. Hopefully it can hit a Rolling Thunder. We will submit this, and on to game 2. That looked an awesome keep. Oh my goodness. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Alright, well I'll keep this as 2 swamps. So if I draw another swamp, things should go pretty well. If I don't draw swamp number 3, things will go horribly. My opponent is on track to get Tron down by turn 3. Let's see what land. Alright, so we will have turn 3 Tron. Oh, we got a Shimmering Grotto as opposed to an Urza's Tower, which makes me think he already has the tower in hand, and he wants the Shimmering Grotto so he can use his removal on my creatures. Yeah, so he has the tower already, and he's going to burn out my creature. Well, this game is not over yet, but it is not looking promising. If I start doing this now, it might make him use his Firebolt on my guy next turn, which will make him use up a decent amount of mana just to kill my 2/2. And it looks like he decides to flash it back while he still can. Corrupt is a good draw. I will continue to get rid of the cards in his graveyard so future Firebolts do not get their double use, and I will elect to draw 2 cards as to playing the Grey Merchant without any prior devotion. My opponent is still at 20, so I have a long way to go to win this one. Hopefully he is not running any enchantment removal. Alright, so he gets to gain 5 life and go up to 25. So this is going to be a very hard match to win. But at least I do have removal here for his beast. Alright, he has 6 cards in hand. He has this haunted thing now, so you could use that at any time. So it means I really have to hold open the relic mana if I want to be able to make any use out of that. And now I draw a Gary. So if I play the Gary, I won't be able to use the relic in response to him trying to return his one random creature. So instead I will draw 2. Alright, if he's activating that, I will use the relic now. And drew me another Gray Merchant, so maybe just playing 3 Gray Merchants and then playing Corrupts will be enough to win this for me. So now I'm well out of range of him Rolling Thundering me out, but he could Rolling Thunder and wipe my team. Looks like that is what is happening here. So he can kill my team, do 6 to me, and then swing for 1, putting me at 19. 2 corrupts now will be enough to win if he doesn't get another Mauler out and then gain 5 life by sacking an artifact. So hopefully he did not draw a Fangren Mauler there. Now I could play a Grey Merchant and either a Sign in Blood or an Edict, or I could just go Corrupt now for 7, then Corrupt again for 7 next turn. And assuming he does not play another Fangren Mauler, that will be enough. If I play a Grey Merchant, it will be a 5-point drain, and I can also cast Sign in Blood on myself to try and draw maybe more swamps to make the Corrupt do more damage next turn. So 5 would put him at 8, so 1 more swamp in the next 3 cards would as well be fatal, so I think I will go for that. That way it plays more defensively in case he does get another Fangren Mauler out. And we got the swamp, so now he's at 8, so the Corrupt will be lethal if he does not gain any life. He has a Rolling Thunder in his hand. I believe it will do 17 damage now. I get to untap, which means unless he's running counters, this game is over. Alright, so we are going to game 3. I like the way I've sideboarded before. I don't think I want to change anything. The only thing I could even think of is maybe putting in the Stinkweed Imp because it will automatically trade with a Fangren Mauler in combat. And it can block the Seagate Oracles as well, but it is vulnerable to the Firebolt. What would I take out if I want to put in the Stinkweed Imp? I'm thinking it would be a Chainer's Edict. And I would not like to do that just because of the vulnerability it has towards removal. So I will keep it just the way I had it before. So 2 games so far, we have not seen a Crusher, so it is highly likely using the version without the Crusher. I like this hand. It has some disruption for his Urza lands and 2 swamps. So if I draw 1 more swamp, that will be good. Ooh, that is an interesting draw. I think I want to play it just to make sure I get to cast Choking Sands on turn 3. I will not Sign in Blood myself as I have 7 cards in hand, so I would have to discard. I will hit his Urza land, and now he won't be able to get Tron going for at least 3 turns. Hopefully I start drawing some swamps, but this Sign in Blood should be able to help me get there. 2 blue mana, sacking Chromatic Star. I believe my opponent is just dirtling. And he made another Tron land drop. Well, time to Sign in Blood myself. Didn't draw a land, but it did draw a Duress, which means I won't have to discard, and I will grab the Rolling Thunder. But let's see, he has the Fangred Mauler, Seagate Oracle. He has a good hand. I will take out the Rolling Thunder even though he only has 3 lands, just because it is a card that can beat me. I will Edict him and Sign in Blood myself. That seems like the best use of my mana here. Alright, so my opponent will get to complete Tron, and he will be playing the Fangred Mauler next turn, and he will be playing a Muldrifter this turn. Alright, so what are my options? I believe my play is to Tendrils the Muldrifter, as I only have 4 swamps, so I cannot use Tendrils to take out his beast. So I might as well do that now. I don't see any reason to wait. And next turn, he will end up gaining at least 5 life with his beast, and then I will use the Oublet on it, and in the following turns I will start trying to play Grey Merchants. He's still at 18 life. And he does have the Haunted Fangren, so he can return the Muldrifter to draw more cards. So he gets to go up to 23. I'll make that 28. So this is going to be another long game. At least I have much more time on the clock than he does, but he runs multiple Rolling Thunders, and now he gets to gain another 5 life. So he's at 33. Could have played my horror here and hoped to top deck, but I'd rather not take the chance and take the 5 damage that would come with losing that. And I know my opponent does in fact have the Firebolt in hand, which will be able to deal with my horror. Let's see if he will use his Haunted land right now in response. He chooses not to. The good thing about the relic is also whenever I use it on him, it makes him have to pick a card, which just uses the time on his clock. If I do pop it, I will lose 1 Chainer's Edict that I have in my graveyard to flash back. Alright, he's using his land, so he's forcing me to prevent him from getting back either a Seagate Oracle or a Mull Drifter, and now I lose my Edict, but I believe that is the correct play, at least on my part. I think that was probably why he did that, so he can use Firebolt and have it available to flashback. Now my opponent has under 5 minutes left, but his deck has a lot of powerful cards to play. So play a Grey Merchant, bring myself back up to 21. Edict him, and let's see if he has another Rolling Thunder. How much damage will it do? 11 points. So he's going to be hitting me with the Mull Drifters, but I have another Grey Merchant to play. I have Corrupt Tendrils, and here is one of the Rolling Thunders. Maybe he has 2 Rolling Thunders in his hand, and he's using one of them right now. I'm probably dead. I'll play this. Let's see now. I can either play a Grey Merchant, and it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 point drain, or I can to a Corrupt and gain 1 extra life. He's swinging for 4, and if he does have another Rolling Thunder in play, that extra life won't make a difference, so I'll just play the Grey Merchant. Green, so he has another Mauler, so I tendrils that. And he gets to gain more life, so I might have to try and beat him on the clock as opposed to beat him via life because he has so much life. But now he has another Haunted Fangren, so he is going to be able to bring that back. So I'll have to use both the tendrils on it and then the Corrupt. He is playing more spells, but I'm getting a lot of lag, so he gains another 5 life. So he's at 34, so he's in nowhere near beatable range for me right now, at least on his life total. I know he does have run at least 2 Rolling Thunders that we found out before. But we already exiled 1 Rolling Thunder, and he has another Rolling Thunder in his graveyard. So I'm not sure if he runs 3 Rolling Thunders, or if he runs a Mnemonic Wall, or what. But I will just be playing a keep my life as high as possible game here. He returned a Muldrifter, which means he gets to draw more cards. And he has a Firebolt in the yard, so that's an extra 2 damage he can do. And he uses Flame Slash. So I'm at 12, and he has 7 power on the board right now. And he has a Firebolt in the yard that he can flash back at any time. So I will cast Corrupt here. And hopefully, being at 16, it will just take him too much time on his clock to win in 1 minute and 10 seconds. Oh, it looks like he might have it here. Well, it looks like he will beat me with under 30 seconds left, as there's nothing I can do to stop all of that damage. All he needs to do is hit me for 1. If I spent 4 mana to return a Grey Merchant, I would be 1 mana short from being able to play it. And I will just Edict him and see how much time he's able to beat me with. Alright, so we had 19 seconds left and we lose round 3. Very interesting. Sign of Justice wins, and even though I lost, I'm still surprised that this client has been out now for months and they still have not fixed that. So, oh well, we still can win round 4 and win 6 packs. So I'll see you then.